Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the African SAP User Group and the Customer Experience Steering Committee, I would like to thank you for joining the session this morning. Your speaker this morning is Peter Steyn from DGB, who I will hand over to in the next 5 minutes. Just a few housekeeping rules. If I could possibly ask everybody to remain on mute throughout the whole session and remove your video capability. Should you have any questions, you can upload them in the chat, and once the session is finished, we will go through each question. The recording as well as the presentation will also be loaded on the AFSAG website. Thank you, Peter. You can start.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, my name is Peter Steyn. As per the introduction, I'm a commercial manager at DGB. I've been with DGB for the last 6 or 7 years now, and as part of one of my key responsibilities has been the mobile application for our sales force, which in the last 12 months or so, we have partnered with SAP, the Sales Cloud C4C solution, which I'll give you a brief overview of and just give you an overview of our partners and the journey we had with this platform. So just to give you a quick overview of what we'll discuss, I'll just give you an overview of DGB and our partners over the last couple of years, and then why we chose this platform, SAP C4C, as well as the landscape, what the roadmap was, and what the future looks like for our business using SAP and a couple of their various platforms. So just an overview of DGB, we're an independent wine and spirits distributor in South Africa. We also do our own wine production. Our wine and production head offices are on Wellington, and our spirits and corporate head offices are up here in Midrand. We also distribute globally to about 70 different countries. We've got 10 sales offices around the world. So we've got quite a big global footprint. We're also one of the agents for a couple of big global brands, including Bacardi Spirits, and Jägermeister, who we've had a 50-year relationship with. Although our company is quite new and in its infancy stages, about 50 years old, the real roots, as you can see, goes back in a couple of our iconic brands, about 300 years in the likes of Boschendal and Bellingham, down in the Cape region. These are just an overview of the brands that we represent and that belong to DGB in our stable. These are our own trademark brands. Couple of the key spirits and wines that you'll find in the liquor stores throughout South Africa. These are our global agency partners that we represent. We are the sole distributor for these brands throughout the country. Couple of big top 10 global spirits in our stable that we represent, in the likes of Bacardi Rum, Jägermeister, and Bombay Sapphire Gin. Also a couple of iconic South African wine brands that have chosen to partner with DGB, their preferred distributor. Cool, guys. Then this over the last 7 years since I joined DGB is really when we started finding a need, when we identified there wasn't a lot of structure in our business in terms of master data, managing our trade environment, our sales force, etc. We essentially, the guys were still running around with loose pieces of paper, with printouts on a daily basis, and bringing that on order forms back to the business to place orders, and they were phoning in a lot of orders. We were having a lot of issues in terms of accuracy, just miscommunications. That's when we really started looking at a mobile application platform for our sales force. That's when we started our SFA project for Salesforce automation. And back then we partnered with a company called Advanced Mobility. They were a local business that provided a mobile platform. They were later bought out by Brighthouse. As you can see in the slide below, it was about 2016 or 2017. And although that platform actually provided a lot of what we needed in the beginning, it gave us the structure. It gave us a central data warehouse. It was quite cumbersome to manage in terms of we needed multiple data sets. It wasn't integrated into our ERP system. There was still a lot of manual work that had to go done to manage both systems. So although the immediate need was met that we required, we quickly realized that this thing was evolving much faster than we anticipated, and we were struggling to meet the demands as we were taking on more brands. Our portfolio started becoming bigger. Our external requirements from our brand owners started becoming greater, and we realized we needed a bit more of a all-inclusive package platform that we could use. And that's when I initially met with SAP. It was in about 2016. I saw a first view of their platform. That was before SAP started investing heavily in the platform, although it was a good platform already. Geez, they did come in leaps and bounds when I saw them about 18 months after that as well. And we looked at C4C. We met with SAP a few times, and we decided on the platform just because of the way our business operates in multiple categories, the needs from different stakeholders, external and internal. We just decided that C4C, the Cloud for Customer solution, seemed like the best solution that we could find versus a couple of the other competitors that we saw. So we made a decision last year, March, to partner with SAP, as well as we also ended up partnering with Consnet as our implementation partner, which was very highly recommended by SAP themselves as one of their preferred suppliers. I did quite a bit of research around the Consnet team, and a couple of very good references came back from the likes of Massmart and a couple of other big companies as well. So that was our journey, how we ended up here where we are today, and it's been quite exciting. A lot of change in this sort of mobile space for our business needs, and I'm sure they will evolve quite a bit over the next few years to come as well. Why we chose SAP for C4C is quite simple. We operate in many categories in the spirits, in the alcohol industry, I should say, and we've got brands in essentially every single category, from wine to spirits to beer to soft drinks. So we've got products in every single category. Very difficult in our previous application was the lack of flexibility, a bit of a one-dimensional approach. It wasn't flexible by category when our sales force went into the stores. So we essentially needed something that could fit our business needs by category, but was in a one-stop shop. So C4C delivered that. That was one of our biggest problems. Along with that came the ease of integration with our ERP platform, which was SAP as well, and with that also came some analytical capability in the same platform. So we essentially ticked quite a few of the boxes that we were looking for with the new application. We started removing some of the duplication work that was in our business, some of the errors in order capturing, and we also streamlined a lot of what our sales force had to do in trade. Essentially, instead of having to do the walk through a store 5 times because the duplication of questions or surveys that was asked for in the previous app, we could now be specific by category, and we could cater for each visit depending on the type of store that we went into. We could have a survey for exactly what the store looks like on the inside, the type of liquor they sell, whether it's on premise or off premise, as well as score our reps live as they were executing within the store. So as they move through the store, capturing their service call, they were seeing how they were performing, were they meeting the expectations of what the business was for them. And this was the main reason that why we went with this platform. It just ticked quite a few of the boxes that we were trying to improve on. So a couple of the key benefits of what C4C provides is the real-time integration and reporting. So like I mentioned, our sales force, they go into a store, they have certain tasks that they need to complete. And as they complete these, they get immediate results and see how they're doing. As far as the integration goes, where we struggled a lot with the previous system is we had to manage two sets of master data. This is now fully integrated, and so any changes on the one side, the data flows bi-directional and updates on both ends. So also our reps could see certain new tasks, what was still outstanding for them to do. There was we could drive the priorities within the store, what our business expectations were. They have access to master data that they never really had access to in terms of credit limit exposure, account status, liquor license data, all stuff that sat within our ERP system but was never previously available in our mobile application. And these are all tools that our sales reps need while they're in store at the cold face to negotiate and make important decisions with the store owner. Also, with this application, the offline capability. So as we do live in South Africa, we all know that we struggle with network in certain areas, especially when you start going out in the countryside and into game lodges with very limited cell phone signal, etc. Our team can work offline. We can manage our teams live to understand where they are they operating as they should be, where they are planned to be for the day. They can also have visibility of where they are going, and also the flexibility of managing their own routes and planning where they want to go in the days upcoming, if they need to switch stuff around as the need requires. There's also a feature for us to store training material and videos, as well as product information, catalogs, etc. within the application in the library. We also use the system to communicate back to our external partners a lot of the excellences that we are seeing in trade and that the team are achieving. So this works great in terms of managing our external brand partners as well. We have access, everybody in the business has access, although restricted to their role in the business. They do have access to all the data required, which was also a big benefit of this system. As in our previous system, we essentially had our sales reps that were capturing data, and a lot of the time the feedback I was getting was that the guys felt like it was going into a dark hole, and they didn't see a lot of feedback. They didn't understand what the data was being used for. So with the analytical capability, the access to all the data, the guys really managed to see the benefit here and understand what the business goal was with the application. As a lot of the Salesforce, when we initially launched this in 2014, thought it was going to be used as a bit of a policing tool, which essentially we trying to avoid, as that is not what it's really put in place for the business for, but can obviously be used for in such a manner. We also have certain mandatory asks across the business that are asked from our brand owners, mostly from our global partners, and these need to be done on a every visit basis, and then reported back to their global offices across the world. The in-store execution, one of the big functions that I mentioned previously, was the fact that we operated in multiple categories. And this is 100% customizable, that we could use this for. So by category, we could execute different asks. If you look at the screenshot on the bottom right, you'll see as a sales rep person walks through a store, we could then structure the questions by whichever section they are actually in the store. So different asks for wine, different asks for beer, different asks for spirits, different asks for non-alcoholic products and soft drinks. So we could customize the asks, and as the rep walked through the store, it would trigger exactly what they needed to do, what was the goal, what was the target, and this way we can manage and track and ensure that we have the perfect execution across all stores. And that also leads me to the next point, is just the effective KPI management, setting targets and achieving these, and it's all in real time. The same thing with the orders. In the old system, we had the guys could place orders. However, it was still an email that then went to a central mailbox, then had to be picked up by another person and had to be captured into our ERP system. And that also just, there was duplication of work and also just a lot of errors where the orders not getting captured into ERP correctly. We also use this platform to do some of our graphic design requests for our internal graphic design team. And then it also comes with all the needs of the customer. Yeah, these signed off on, and we've got all the proofs ready. We're much faster than previously, than it also being manual paper forms that had to be completed and signed off. Just the landscape of the DGB platform that we had with C4C and with the Consnet team. So essentially, we were under quite a bit of pressure to implement this thing as our contract with the one partner was running out, and we needed a platform quite quickly. There was quite a bit of pressure on myself and the Consnet team, and we decided to roll our project out in 2 phases. Essentially, phase 1 was really just supposed to be a like for like. We in the very short term, in the space of 2 months, just wanted to replicate what the previous system looked like before we started really going into the benefits of the new system. So our plan was just to make a like-for-like system. A lot of the integration was only going to happen in months 3 and 4 post the implementation of phase 1. But we managed to achieve 1 or 2 of the goals before phase 2 as the team worked through it. But we did not have the full integration yet. So although we only really integrated our product and master data, replicating one way in phase 1, just so that all the correct master data was reflecting in our system. We had like-for-like surveys that we had in the previous system, which also was a bit cumbersome, and that's where the team really went above and beyond. And then we managed to get the perfect store execution, which is a functionality of SAP C4C, which we could be very specific, category specific in our asks, and we managed to roll that out in phase 1 as well. So we delivered a lot of the enhancements in the first couple of months already from the platform, due to just the team, being very knowledgeable and being working around the clock and getting that done. For phase 2, we ended up with the full CPI bidirectional integration. Now everything is connected. Order placement, although had to be very customizable, due to the fact that we have so many different products with so many different specs for our different business units, marketing materials as well as saleable materials, different vintages on wines. There was a lot of business rules that had to be built into the order integration. But we managed to tick the box, and the guys have gone live, and so far we have had very limited issues, and it has avoided quite a bit of work from our contact center, which now essentially are just releasing orders as they see fit and as required. No more double duplication of capturing of the orders. We've also set up the data extracts to run through an SFTP from C4C directly onto the DGB servers, which is integrated with our business intelligence tool. So we essentially have live reporting in our BI tool as well as within the C4C application, which now ticks the operational and management reporting boxes. So which is a great enhancement from our previous application, where everybody felt like there was a bit of a data just being captured and going into a dark hole. To give you a bit of a overview of what the DGB platform looks like and what the perfect store execution asks and enhancements have been, we've put together quite a few screenshots. So essentially, if I'm a sales rep in the morning, I wake up and I see a calendar like you see on the screen. The red visits are essentially visits that have been completed, and then the blue ones are still open visits that I as a rep need to execute. This is also live. If a manager or anyone in the business logs in, they could oversee any of the reps as long as they've got access and see how the reps are performing, or they're doing what's expected of them for the day. So it's also taken away a lot of the phone calls between managers and staff, just to ensure that the guys are where they need to be, and also can just follow up if there are queries from customers who say that they haven't seen some of their reps in a while. All the data is live in the system, and the reps can plan these. They can change these. We upload these on a month ahead of time. Obviously, in that month there could be changes, and then the guys have the flexibility to move these around as required by themselves. Once a rep logs into his visit, or into his account, I should say, that he's visiting, this is sort of the screen that he would see with all the pertinent details to that store. So all the master data that's been gathered in SAP when the account gets open is all stored here in the system. We can see the address, we can see credit limits, liquor license, validation dates. Are there any blocks on the account? The addresses, the telephone numbers, owner names, whatever you want to capture, and you've got access to the data, it's all here, and the rep has access to it in one place. Also, the data can be updated, whichever fields are editable for them, as certain fields can only be changed by the debtors or department. But whatever data we give access to, they can change, and it will update in the bi-directional flow of data. Once a rep has gone into a store and he's started his visit, he can actually also has access to all his previous visits data. You'll see here it's got dates for previous visits with all the data captured. So it also tracks the improvement of your execution, any previous requests. There's space for notes from the customer. You can schedule meetings through the app, and then you've got access to all of that in one central location. What's also great about this is that as the team make notes, capture their meeting minutes, etc., in this application, everybody that would need access to it's got access to it. Firstly, his manager might want to have access to this data. It's in the system. If we have a resignation in the business and a new person is taking over, all the historical data is in the system, and there is no need for discussions, too many discussions and handovers, etc. You can always refer back to some of the previous minutes or notes within the customer that sit here. Once our sales force gets into a store, essentially this is the perfect store module or surveys that we ask of the guys. So they get into a store, there's different sections within the store. For if you're familiar with what a liquor store, grocery store looks like, you know, the wine is in one place, the spirits is in one place, there's beer fridges somewhere else in the store. Then you've also got different types of outlets, obviously like a restaurant or a bar, and those have their own separate needs as well. And these perfect store engagement maps we can set up for every type of store with specific asks for every category within the store that looks completely different. The ask is completely different. And then we can also live track and score the guys compared to how they are supposed to be doing within the store as well. So it's a great tool for the guys to see what is required of them, as well as also just tracking their own performance. As you can see in the top, it'll tell you how you did the last visit, and then also now that you've completed your visit, your next visit, did you actually improve, or has the store gone backwards versus the previous visits and the executional asks. So within the application, you'll see in the bottom right, that's just an example of some of the questions, and those are quite the basic ones. Just are products available, yes or no? What's the price of the products in the store? And this way we can capture our own products, but also some competitor info as well, so we can understand what the competitors are up to in trade as well. What are measure ourselves against them? Are they outperforming us, or are we beating them? And also identify certain strongholds where we can then obviously be very targeted in our approach of execution, and where we can invest, etc. But so all the data that gets captured here obviously feeds straight back into our management reporting and our business intelligence tool. What is great about the perfect store execution is that it is very much a guided workflow for the salesperson as they go into the store. So we try to set it up as far as possible in the type of the flow that the store is set up in, and then it's just one view as the salesperson goes through the store, and they can execute all the asks. As mentioned before, ensure that our KPIs are met, the data is real time, and also that the salespeople have full visibility of what they did previously, and also what is required from them in this next visit. Another great feature of this application that was not available in our previous one, depending on the executional ask, you can save the data from the previous visit for the next one. So as a sales rep, to save time on data capturing, which isn't obviously their number one job, instead of just recapturing all the data from start to finish, they can only capture changes that have happened. So has the price changed on shelf? Is a product now available that was previously there, which saves a lot of time instead of capturing a broad portfolio of 400 plus SKUs, each item in every store each time. So it did reduce a lot of the time that our salespeople now spend on data capturing instead of selling. This is just the slide, as I mentioned, just example of some of the asks that we ask of our sales reps. And yeah, this is just the very simple, although we go and delve into a lot more detail, different surveys, different asks, just the basic product placing and also pricing that we ask, versus targeted selling prices that we set with them. And this all the data that goes in here is what goes into the KPI scoring, which you'll see on one of the following slides. At the end of the visit, as I mentioned, the KPI scoring, this is what it looks like. So based on in our portfolio, let's call it 300-400 products, availability and pricing performance, as well as certain ad hoc executional promotional implementation asks, whatever it might be, we can score the visits on a live dashboard like this. Also, it tells you how you did versus the last visit, as I mentioned, and by category we can see where we're winning and where we're losing. and we can identify the problem areas and tackle those as they arise. At the end of the visit, essentially you do get an overview of what it looks like, with any notes from the visit that you might make. Looks very simple, but you can drill into the horizontal taskbar over there, and there's a whole bunch of different documents, surveys, meeting requests, any feed asks that your manager might have put there for you. Got access to all of them within the store, within the visit, and you can review before you finish your visit. This is just an example. Obviously, as our sales force is driving around throughout the country, new restaurants pop up, new bottle stores open, and on the fly, the team can submit new customer data, which immediately then flows through to our contact center. This then obviously gives the guys all the detail. We can make contact, start opening accounts, start scheduling visits, meetings, etc. with the team, and that data is real time, and it's not it doesn't get lost or forgotten about. It sits in the system, and then we need to just close the loop on the ask for our new customers. What is also difficult within our business, and just an example of the different product lists that we've got, is due to us managing our saleable stock and our marketing stock all through one platform. There is about thousands of saleable items and tens of thousands of marketing materials within our system that come in and go out, that get placed across all the brands. So we've developed business rules and maintaining these product lists for whatever the ask is of the rep. If he's placing an order for saleable stock or requesting marketing materials from marketing department, they have access to all of this in the system. And this was all set up with business rules integrated into C4C, and is now something that took hours of time managing these different lists and master data sets is now 100% integrated into C4C, and has reduced a lot of the work of the resources in this process as well. Moving on, also when you're within a customer, before you go into a visit, or if you want to place an order, there is historical views now of all the orders previous orders that have been placed on this account. And this is not just from what the sales rep has placed, but if a store has emailed in an order to our call center, anything that has been captured in ERP is reflected in the system. Also, obviously, we have EDI integration with quite a few of the customers as well, and the sales rep has full access, can see what orders have gone through the system and understand what stock he should be looking for in store. Was it not on shelf? What was short ordered, etc., etc. They've got access to all the data on their handheld device, right at their fingertips as well. And for these orders, it also it's not just saleable stock that they can track here. They can also track any marketing stock that has been issued to marketing by the marketing department to the store as well. So they've got access to everything that has been sent to the store. I spoke about earlier just a couple of the excellences that we require to report back to some of our global partners. This all sits in one library within the system, and you can set this up, different views, filter by different brands, different folders, and we've got access to all of this. We give access to our global partners, their marketing managers, and the guys can pull the images off themselves, see what it looks like here in South Africa, what we've executed for them. Obviously, especially in times like this when they can't get out here and travel a lot, is very useful. So all the data sits in one place, and they can easily see what is being done on their brands and the work that's being done in their brands within our business. We also, very similarly, we use a lot of this for some of our training material that we upload for our Salesforce as well as certain libraries like this that we create. Then what does the potential future look like for DGB and SAP? We've had quite a bit of discussion around this, and there's quite a few options on the table. One of the first ones we were looking at, because we currently only have this platform available to our Salesforce, the next obvious step for us seems like it should be a roadmap with our contact center, and we can start managing, essentially then have a 360 view of our customer. Anything that they phone in, any queries, any complaints, track order statuses. Everybody has access to the same view. Quick feedback instead of having to phone through the different departments to understand the query, and it can be directed to the correct person to answer the status of any queries or complaints. Then the second one we're looking at is a commerce integration with our ERP system as well. So to give us an online presence, give the customers access to the platform, place their orders online, track their orders online. So then they also will have full access to their account, understand what's outstanding, and we could manage it and track. They could track their own order on their way to them. And then lastly is the SAP Litmus platform, which is online onboarding and training functionality that we've been investigating. Obviously, as people leave and join the company, they need to understand what the company is about, as well as ever changing requirements from everybody within the business and training required. So we could upload the training material, track progress of the training, and then also understand who's completed what. We can use this for performance management, and sort of see what the status of all our staff are in terms of up to date, educated on the materials of the different brands, different categories, etc., etc. Then with Consnet and SAP, there's new functionality, and I didn't mention this before, but another big plus why we went with C4C and SAP was the fact that obviously it's a global company with a reputable reputation. So they release new functionality every quarter, which is great for us. It was a problem with the previous application was the lag in development, and the ongoing requests and asks and tracking and some of the disappointment. But with SAP, they're obviously global. They've got different requests coming in from hundreds of different companies across the world for new functionality and asks, which is they then develop and comes out in quarterly releases, and as a C4C partner, you then get access to. So the even stuff that you as a company might not even have thought of, there might be new functionality that could be very beneficial to us, and that's quite exciting as we start tapping into some of the global ideas that SAP has access to. With this, that obviously can just improve our visits, our activities, streamline some of our processes. So that's also very exciting for us. Consnet as our partner and as part of our support agreement, they do all the testing for these quarterly releases for us. These releases come out in February, May, August, and November, and they then can also train us in any of the enhancements that were made. They also assist us, all our users, provide support for all our users and our administrators, as well as assist us with any reporting requirements on the C4C platform, also as well as the data extracts that as we require. And they are very knowledgeable in what they do. They're a big help to us in getting this thing up and running in a very streamlined fashion, and with very limited impact on our business. The changeover was swift. We trained everybody within 1 week across the country, and we were up and running on an improved system that even over-delivered in our phase 1 approach when we launched this thing. So yeah, I'd like to thank the Consnet team and SAP and the SAP guys for the great support that we've got over the last 12 to 15 months since going on this journey with them. And guys, that's essentially my story in a nutshell. If there's any questions, and thanks very much for taking the time to listen to it. And I hope if you guys are looking into this platform, I can tell you it has improved a lot of our processes quite a bit within our business. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Peter. If anybody has any questions, you can just post it in the chat and then we can answer them. So Peter, I don't know if you can see the chat, but there has been some thank yous to you.
I see that. Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks for taking the time to listen to our story and our journey.
You will get a notification with regards to the recording when it is available. You'll have to log onto the AFSAG website and all the presentations and the recordings will be there. Okay, Peter, it doesn't look like there's any questions, just a lot of thank yous and great presentations, which is awesome. If I can ask you just after the session, just to email me your final presentation so that I can load it onto the website by the end of today. And just obviously behalf of AFSAG, thank you very much for your time and presenting to the user community.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, and thanks for Vickers and the Consnet team for the assistance and putting this all together. Yeah, and I'll email it through to you today, Genevieve. No problem.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.